I'm going to tell you something most people get completely wrong. Sexual tension is not created by trying to be sexual. In fact, the more obvious you are, the faster you kill it. Because tension, real tension, lives in the unsaid, in the pause before a sentence ends, in the eye contact that lasts just a second too long, in the moment where something could happen, but doesn't. And that's exactly why most people struggle with it. They rush, they force it, they say too much, too soon, they make the subtext text, and the moment you do that, the moment you make it obvious, it's gone. Think about the most magnetic people you've ever met, the ones who made you feel something without doing anything dramatic. They weren't louder than everyone else. They weren't more attractive than everyone else. They just had something, a quality you couldn't name, a presence you couldn't ignore. That wasn't accident. That was control. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to create that. How to build sexual tension without making things weird, without saying anything inappropriate, without trying too hard. And once you understand this, you'll start noticing something interesting. People will feel drawn to you. They'll seek out your attention. They'll remember your conversations long after they're over, and they won't even know why. Let's start with the first shift you need to make. Before we dive deeper, a quick message. If you've been learning from my videos and you want to support this work, you can subscribe to me on Facebook with a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. Your support helps me create more powerful content for you, and I truly appreciate every bit of it. All right, now let's continue. 1. Stop trying to impress. Start creating curiosity. Most people walk into an interaction thinking, how do I impress this person? And that's the mistake, because when you try to impress, you perform. You say what you think they want to hear. You laugh a little too easily at their jokes. You volunteer information about yourself before they even ask. And here's what that communicates. I need your approval. That is the single fastest way to eliminate tension. Because tension requires a degree of uncertainty, a sense that you haven't fully revealed yourself, a feeling that there's more to discover. When you're busy performing, there's nothing left to discover. You've handed it all over. So instead of trying to prove yourself, pull back a little, say less, reveal slowly, ask more than you answer. Let them come to you. Let them work a little to understand who you are. Because curiosity is more powerful than admiration. Admiration makes someone think, wow, they're impressive. Curiosity makes someone think, I need to know more about them. And that is where tension begins. And once curiosity is there, the next step is what turns that curiosity into actual tension.
2. Master eye contact without overdoing it. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools you have, but it's also one of the easiest to get wrong. Too little, and there's no connection. You seem distracted, disinterested, forgettable. Too much, and it feels intense in the wrong way. Not intriguing, just uncomfortable. The secret is in the timing. Hold eye contact just a second longer than feels normal. Then look away casually, not nervously, not abruptly, not like you got caught. Just naturally, calmly, like you're choosing to look away. That distinction matters because looking away nervously signals insecurity. But looking away deliberately after holding just a moment longer than expected, that signals control. And that slight delay, that tiny extra second, creates awareness. Suddenly, they're thinking about you, not consciously necessarily, but something registered, something shifted. And awareness is where tension begins. Let your eyes do what most people's words fail to do. Communicate interest without desperation. But eye contact alone isn't enough, because what you say next can either build the tension or destroy it instantly.
3. Use playful ambiguity. Most people communicate too clearly. They either show too much interest too fast, or they go so far the other direction they seem cold. But tension exists in the middle, in ambiguity, in the sentence that could mean two things, in the compliment that walks the line, in the question that makes them pause and think. Say things that can be taken more than one way. Use light teasing. Play with meaning, not to confuse, not to manipulate, but to create layers. Because when someone has to think about what you meant, they stay mentally engaged with you. Long after the conversation ends, they're still turning your words over, still figuring you out. And that mental engagement, that's where attraction lives. Think about the conversations you remember most. They weren't the ones where everything was clear and surface level. They were the ones that left you thinking. Be that conversation for someone else. Say something that sticks, something that requires a second reading, and then let them sit with it. Now, here's where it gets even more powerful, because the next step doesn't involve words at all. 4. Control physical proximity. You don't need to touch someone to create tension. Sometimes, not touching creates more, because the body registers proximity even when the mind doesn't acknowledge it. Standing just slightly closer than usual during a conversation, then stepping back naturally, leaning in when you make a point, then creating space again. It's the push and pull of physical presence. That creates a subtle but powerful awareness. Not aggressive, not inappropriate, just present. There's a reason people remember how certain individuals made them feel physically near them. The warmth of proximity, the awareness of presence, the slight electricity of almost. That's not chemistry that just happens. That's proximity managed well. Control the space between you, and you control the energy in the interaction. Move toward them when the moment is interesting. Create distance when the moment peaks, because distance after closeness creates longing, and longing is tension. But if you think this is about physical space only, wait until you hear what emotional space does.
5. Create emotional highs and lows. If every interaction feels the same, there's no tension. Flat energy is forgettable energy. But when emotions shift throughout a conversation, when you take someone through different emotional states, something interesting happens. Their brain starts associating all of those feelings with you. The lightness, the seriousness, the laughter, the moment of unexpected depth, all of it gets attached to your presence. So one moment you're playful, easy and light, making them laugh. The next, you shift. You say something quieter, something real, something that catches them off guard with its honesty. And then you pull back to something easy again. Not in a manipulative way, not calculated to the point of being fake, but dynamically, like a person who actually has depth. Because here's the truth. People aren't drawn to those who are always happy, or always serious, or always anything. They're drawn to people who feel alive, whose energy moves, whose presence changes the texture of a room. Be that person. Take them somewhere emotionally they didn't expect to go, and then leave them wondering when they get to go back. And now we get to something most people overlook completely, but it changes everything.
6. Be comfortable with silence. Silence makes most people deeply uncomfortable, so they rush to fill it. They talk too much, they laugh too quickly, they make a joke to break the moment, and in doing that, they break something real. Because silence is where tension breathes. Think about the moments in your life that felt most charged, most intimate, most significant. A lot of them probably weren't filled with words. There was a look, a pause, a shared quiet. When you're comfortable in silence, it communicates something powerful. It says, I don't need to perform for you. It says, I'm not afraid of this moment. And that confidence, that stillness, is magnetic. It creates space for emotions to rise naturally, for the other person to feel something without being told what to feel. So the next time a silence falls between you and someone, don't rush. Hold it. Let it sit. See what grows in that space. Because sometimes, that quiet moment says more than any sentence ever could. And finally, the last piece that ties everything together. 7. Know when to pull back. This is the part most people miss entirely. They feel the tension building. The conversation is good. The energy is there, and then they push too far. One more text, one more comment, too much time, too much intensity, and suddenly The thing that felt effortless starts to feel forced. The tension doesn't grow from overstaying. It grows from leaving at the right moment. End the conversation while it's still good, while they're still laughing, while the energy is still high. Step away first, not rudely, not coldly, just confidently, like someone who has somewhere to be, like someone who doesn't need to drain every last drop of a moment. Because here's what that communicates. This isn't the only good thing in my life, and that makes you more valuable. The law of scarcity is real. What is always available loses its edge. What feels rare feels precious. So be someone they get enough of to want more, not enough to feel satisfied. Leave something unfinished. Leave a thread they want to pull, because tension doesn't live in constant presence. It lives in anticipation, in the wondering, in the what happens next. Give them enough to want to find out. So now, think about everything you've just heard. Sexual tension isn't about being bold, or saying something risky, or making a move before the moment is right. It's about control. Control of timing, control of emotion, control of presence, control of what you reveal and what you don't. It's subtle, it's quiet. But when it's done well, it's one of the most powerful forces in human interaction. Here's what separates the people who naturally create it from those who constantly struggle to find it. It's not looks, it's not money, it's not confidence in the loud, obvious sense. It's awareness, awareness of the moment, awareness of energy, awareness of when to lean in and when to pull back. When you develop that awareness, everything shifts. You walk into a room differently. You hold conversations differently. You see interactions as something you can shape rather than something that just happens to you. And when you do it right, people don't feel uncomfortable around you. They don't feel pressured. They don't feel like something is being done to them. They just feel something warm, something exciting, something they can't quite name or explain. And that unnamed feeling is what brings them back again and again. Not because you said the perfect thing, not because you looked a certain way, but because you made them feel something real, something rare, something they don't find in every conversation. That's the power of tension done right. And now, you understand it. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe, and explore the other videos on this channel. Because what you just learned is only the surface of how attraction really works.